Become a premium member on RealCatholicTV.com today. Not only will you learn about the one true faith, just think of all the new friends you'll make. When the saints go marching in.
Democratic Senate candidates threaten to deny religious liberty. UK therapists barred from treating patients for same-sex attraction. And sex selection fuels the booming Canadian baby market. Those stories and more just ahead on Catholic News Roundup.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Democrats denying religious liberty. Democratic candidates for the Senate appear ready to violate religious liberty and will have no problem as senators passing legislation forcing Catholic hospitals to perform abortions. Senate candidates Susan Bishowitz and Matthew Oakes responded to questions on the issue in a debate by saying the federal government has the right to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions. All five candidates vying to replace retiring Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman support forcing abortion into Catholic hospitals, which is prompting a response from bishops of the state who say it is unfortunate that they are so ready to violate freedom of religion. Another one of the candidates, William Tong, even went so far as to say that abortion and contraception are, quote, basic liberties enshrined in our Constitution. Guidelines threaten therapists. Helping homosexuals who want to leave the gay lifestyle can now cost you your credentials, according to the United Kingdom's newly created guidelines for therapists. The latest rules, published last summer, call it an ethical offense to, quote, help a client overcome homosexual temptations and feelings, or to comply with a request from a client to do so. And they are being enforced. As the director of the Core Issues Trust, Dr. Michael Davidson, found out the hard way, his organization is focused on helping those who with unwanted same-sex attraction conquer their disorder. 2 years into his training to become a therapist, Davidson was issued an interim order telling him he was a threat to public safety and that pending an investigation into his conduct, he was not allowed to continue his work. Dr. Davidson says the system is bulldozing over even the wishes of patients, violating patient autonomy by telling them they have to remain homosexual whether they like it or not. Canadian baby market. Sex-selective in vitro fertilization is being regularly advertised in Canadian newspapers following a recent study done in the country indicating female babies are abortion targets for certain immigrant groups. A Washington state fertility clinic is running an ad in British Columbia targeting Indo-Canadians, telling parents interested in sex selection to go to the Center for Reproductive Medicine, where they specialize in providing an embryo that fits the parent's preferred gender. The National Post newspaper in Canada is endorsing the ad as it criticizes those who oppose sex selection IVF, referring to what it calls Canada's free-for-all baby market. It should be noted that the in vitro process for couples seeking a child regularly trashes living embryos to get intended results and also aborts children from the womb when too many are accidentally conceived through the IVF procedure. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Crusaders to the Corps. The Marine Corps is clashing with atheists in the military over a recent decision to call Fighter Squadron 122 the Crusaders, also giving them the Templar Cross as an insignia. Founder of the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, Mikey Weinstein, claims that the Marine Corps couldn't do anything more to fuel the cause of jihadists, saying it will end up costing lives. The decision is being called blatantly religious by critics. even though the squadron is ditching the name Wolverines it has had over the past 3 years, simply to revert back to the name and symbol it held for 50 years, from 1958 to 2008, before a change was forced by superiors. Extreme Islamic meddling. Muslim extremist groups are being allowed to influence the strategy of the United States, according to Florida Republican Representative Allen West. West has the FBI in his crosshairs with such comments, talking specifically about the FBI's recent decision to remove 900 pages of FBI training materials at Democratic Senator Dick Durbin's complaint that the material could lead Muslims to be targeted based on their religion. Discussing the issue of tolerance with Fox News, West points out that when tolerance becomes a one-way street, it leads to cultural suicide. Christians make up 76% of the U.S. population, and Muslims currently represent less than 1% of Americans. However, as Catholics are being silenced on the issue of abortion, Islam is seemingly allowed to influence FBI policy. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. Also, don't forget to check out The Vortex, where Michael talks about Maronite Might in Australia. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.